Hello and welcome back to Mental Health Toolkit. My name is Annie and today we're going to be talking about talking and listening skills. I posted a video called Relationships and it talks about the overarching importance of relationships in our life, why they're so crucial to our development, to our growth, and I talk you through a model of concentric circles to reflect on who those people are in your life that you're closest to, who are those people that you're close to but maybe don't let into the deepest parts of who you are, and then who is in your community that you may interact with some but maybe not all the time. And to ask yourself, who might you let in closer, who might you need to set more boundaries with, and reflect some on those relationships. So feel free to look up that video on my channel to learn a little more and reflect on your relationships. So today I want to talk about some skills you can use in any relationship you have, whether it's at work, with your spouse, with a partner, with your kids, with your friends, with people you might be in small groups with, whoever that is for you, to learn some skills of how to listen better, good questions to ask, good ways to show people that you really hear what they're saying, and help you grow closer to people. So there is a practice model called Motivational Interviewing, and it was first created to really help people address the changes that they wanted to make in their lives and to help them move towards those goals they had, help them take those big steps to make some changes that felt risky, that felt scary to them, but that they really desired to have a more full and whole life. And from that model, there is a skill set of talking and listening skills called OARS. That's the acronym for it. It stands for Open-Ended Questions, Affirmations, Reflective Responses, and Summary. And so I want to talk through how you can use OARS in your relationships. So that first part, open-ended questions. In our relationships, we want to ask questions primarily that start with what or how. Most questions that start with what or how are considered open-ended questions because people typically can't respond yes or no or give a one-word response to them. They have to give a little more information. So sometimes I find myself asking my kids, did you have fun at your friend's house today? That's a closed-ended question. They could say yes or no. It's also considered a leading question because I've assumed that they probably have had fun, or I'm wanting them to say yes, they had fun. A better way of asking is, how was your time at your friend's house? How did you feel while you were there? What kinds of things did you do? What was that like for you? All of those questions are open-ended, and then our children or anybody that we're asking about an experience that they had, what did you enjoy about it? What was the worst part? What did you feel when that happened? All those are open-ended questions, and we want to try to err on the side of open-ended as much as possible. If you start with words like do or did, are, is, those tend to be more closed-ended questions. Do you, are you, is it? But if you ask, what was that like? How did you feel about that? How was your day? What do you want to do most? What's most important to you? How are you making that decision? All of those questions are open-ended, and we want to do that in our relationships. So I'll actually provide links to different question sets that I found that can be helpful in work, in parenting, in friendship, and in marriage. Now, not all the questions are ones you might use, but you might take a look at some of the lists and consider how you might use those questions in your relationships. You might say, oh, you're not identifying a relationship that I'm in. Maybe you're in a small group or you attend a church. And so I would just encourage you to do your own research. How can you ask better questions? So the A is affirmations. And that really is about just building people up, noticing where they've succeeded. Sometimes people will overlook the success they've had or a step that they took that was scary, but they still did it. A risk that they took that they've been talking about for a long time and they finally did it. And sometimes people kind of gloss over that or they don't want to talk about it because it's still a bit unnerving to them. And so you can affirm people in that. You can say, wow, I really noticed that you tried something new and I'm proud of you. You can do this in the workplace when you notice somebody worked really hard at something, or they did a little extra, went above and beyond, or completed a project, or achieved a award, or got a grant for a certain project, to just affirm their work. You can do it spontaneously, and you can do it very intentionally. R is for reflective listening. And reflective listening has two parts. So reflective listening is about hearing what somebody has to say. So maybe you ask an open-ended question. What was your favorite part of your day? And they may say, well, a lot of really good things happened. Work went really well. I had a good conversation with my boss. I got to go out to my favorite restaurant tonight, and I had ice cream for dessert. Okay? Reflective listening can respond to the content of somebody's message. So you can say, wow, it sounds like you did a lot of really fun things tonight, and you had a good experience at work, and sounds like you had a really positive day. That's reflecting on content, but you can also reflect on feelings. You can kind of pick up on what the emotional experience somebody had was. So you might say something back to that person like, it sounds like you felt joyful and satisfied with your day, that you got to have a yummy dessert, eat at your favorite restaurant, and you had a positive experience at work, right? So satisfied and joyful are the feelings, and then their experience. So that piece of reflecting on feelings is also considered empathy, where we kind of step in somebody else's experience, and not just you stepping into somebody's shoes. Sometimes that's used as an example of empathy. But you saying, what do I know about this person? And what if I took on kind of their persona and stepped into their shoes? What might they be feeling, knowing what I know about who they are and what their life has been like? That's true empathy. So empathy, yes, requires us to try to notice what might that emotion be and even identify it within ourselves. But even further than that, it's taking in what you know about the person across from you, their life experiences, what they maybe have been working on, what their goals are, what they value most, and how they might be feeling given all of that information and what they've just shared with you. So you could say lead-ins for empathic responses sound something like this. It sounds like you feel, fill in the blank, because, and then talk about the content. So if somebody said, I've had a really hard day and I didn't get anything done, I lost my cool with my family, and I ended up just going to bed early because I just wanted it to be over with. They didn't necessarily give a feeling yet, and so you might empathize and reflect by saying, it sounds like your day was full of really tough stuff, and I imagine, or it sounds like, or you seem to be feeling defeated and let down and discouraged. And then you check in, is that right? You may say, am I on the right track, or am I hearing you right, or is that the emotion that you're experiencing? So we want to reflect both on the content of somebody's message and also the feelings that might be connected to it. And then finally, S stands for summary. Now, summary shows up a lot in the therapy work that I do, where I kind of summarize what our session was like, if there's any therapy homework that my client is leaving with or that I need to do. But we can also summarize in some ways more lighthearted ways, or ways with our spouses or our partners or our kids or our friends. Maybe we say, we need to do lunch again, and we say, yep, we agreed to do lunch again. Let's get that on our calendars. I'll be thinking about you at that job interview. And your friend may say, yeah, I'll check in with you in a few days to see how work went, because I know it's been challenging for you. Okay, so that's an example of summary, where in a relationship, you kind of say, here's what we talked about, and here's what we're going to do between the next time that we see each other or meet with each other. So I hope that you can find ways to engage in one or more of these skills. Open-ended questions, remember I'll provide links down below. Affirmations, affirming people, lifting people up, reflective listening, and then summarizing your time with somebody. As you practice this with the people in your life, remember to be kind to yourself.